Hello YouTube. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while now and just never got around to it. A lot of guys I work with have made one, so I guess now is about my time where I get up off my butt and make it. This is just basically going to be an overall view of my duty belt and the things that I carry on a day-to-day basis. We'll start off here with the duty belt itself, which is a standard leather JP duty belt. I prefer leather over nylon. I know a lot of guys are leaning towards nylon these days, but to me nylon was always military and leather was law enforcement. It's just an old school view, and you know what they say, it's kind of hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So besides the fact that actually this belt is only about 2 months old or so, I had to get a new one because my last JP belt finally was falling apart, kind of turning into silly string, and that was after 12 years of service. So I don't know if nylon will last quite 12 years, but JP sure does. Had to trim a little bit off the end. I lost some weight there, so I'm kind of happy about that. And this is a Gould & Goodrich leather taser holster for my M26 taser. I'm actually really happy about that. Really good quality, worth every cent I paid for it. Gives you 2 extra compartments to hold your spare taser cartridges. As you can see, my belt is kind of already full as it is without even a radio on it, so having an individual holster to carry spare cartridges didn't make as much sense as actually having, you know, 2 cartridge holsters mounted onto the holster itself. So that worked out well. There you go, 2 spare taser cartridges, and the tried and true workhorse, the M26. This was the taser for over a decade before the X26 came out. The X26 is a little smaller, a little lighter, but it's actually not quite as strong as the M26. I believe the X26 is only 21 watts, where the M26 clocks in at 27 to 28, so a little more bang for your buck there. Even though the X26s are smaller, probably maybe 70% the size of an M26, so it's a little bit bulky at times, but I still like my old one. This is a Safariland keyring holder. I actually like the Safarilands better. The JPs would kind of fall apart. They had a swivel on them. Didn't last long, so Safariland is hanging in there. And this is had to upgrade to a new holster for my MK4 size OC. This is Safariland. And good old Saber Red. I prefer Saber Red. They have some models of what's called the cop top, which is basically open. There is no flip top on it. It's supposed to be easier for you to deploy with gloves on. I don't have a problem fitting my thumb or forefinger in with gloves on, so I'd rather have the protection against an accidental discharge by having a flip top, but that's just my opinion. And then we have this is a JP holster for what was a Scorpion, which now holds a Stryon, which is basically Streamlight's rechargeable version of a Scorpion with a Xeon bulb. I'm going to be upgrading that to a Stinger pretty soon. And then I have 2 JP cuff cases, closed top, with standard Smith & Wesson 100 cuffs. Actually, I need to upgrade these too. Not really both of them, but one. I want to get an oversized set. We've had guys run into situations where they can't fit standard 100s on somebody. So having one standard and one oversized set, in case you run into that, may be the way to go soon. And then we have a standard open top JP holder for my ASP. This is another thing I'm going to be upgrading soon. I'm going to be going to a rapid rotation baton. When I get that in, I'll make a video on it. Basically because when law enforcement shifted over from what was a tried and true PR-24, which is a variation of a Tonfa martial arts weapon, which had tactical advantages to it, for a smaller size and something that was more convenient, we all shifted over to an ASP, which is basically nothing more than a caveman club. Kind of lost a tactical advantage with that. So if some of you are familiar with a rapid rotation baton, it's more of like a Tonfa. So when I have that in, I'll make a video on that. It actually has a pretty wild holster made just for that baton, so kind of waiting for that to come in. This is my duty holster. This is not a dual retention, just a single retention. I know people are they're gonna complain about that, but for my weapon, it was kind of hard to find a dual or triple retention holster from Blackhawk for this particular weapon, which carries my Bersa 9mm Thunder 9 Tactical. I'm not really hot on Glocks. I know people are they're gonna say Glocks are the best. That's great. I'm not a big fan of them personally, but so that's my sidearm with the clip. The Bianchi AccuMold Elite is not leather. It's a leather composite look-alike, but it's half the weight. Really good quality. I wanted to get the AccuMold Elite for my magazine holder, but they didn't have it in stock, so this is Bianchi's straight leather dual magazine holder with 2 more clips for my Bersa. And these are my belt keepers. Now this is actually a really important part of your duty belt. In leather, they tend to fall apart quick because what you see here is probably about 30 pounds worth of weight, and this is what's securing your duty belt to your trouser belt. And so they take a beating. These are Safarilands, which are basically a plastic polymer composite type. They're not leather, and man, they're holding up. They don't crack or anything. This is really good. So I kind of have a mix of a few different things here, although most of it's leather JP, but it all is leather or leather look-alike. Some people are going to ask, hey, why do you have 2 sets of cuffs? Well, for those of us in the business know, there's not always one person that you may have to arrest, so having 2 comes in handy. The same goes for your taser cartridges. Some people are going to say, you know, why do you have all of this on your belt? And for those that aren't in a law enforcement type of work, I have an analogy that I'll equate it to this. You bring your car to a mechanic. Mechanic is working on your car, changing the water pump per se. And he has a toolbox with everything in it. Well, when he has to change something and he goes to reach for a socket, he doesn't have it. He gets up, he walks away, he goes to his toolbox and he grabs his 10mm socket, goes back to your vehicle and starts working. In our line of work, if you reach for the 10mm socket and you don't have it, the car falls on you. So you have to have your whole toolbox basically around your waist at any given time. The arrangement of the holsters and all of my gear is basically a personal preference, what feels comfortable for you. For me, really, the only couple of items that aren't accessible with both hands are my 2 cuff holders and my Stry-on. Everything else is accessible with both hands, which is a good rule of thumb, because you don't necessarily always going to grab something with your right hand or your left, so you want to be able to have that ambidextrous ability to acquire a piece of your equipment in a moment's notice without really having to shuffle around. So basically everything on it that's here is positioned in a way that accomplishes that goal. And then we'll move up here to my Kevlar vest. Yep, it's old. It's not a new composite. It doesn't have Tridon, Aramid, Spectraflex in it. This is a straight Kevlar with a steel trauma plate. Ow. But luckily there's no holes in it. I've been blessed in that regard that I haven't had to upgrade my vest due to physical damage from gunfire, although the vest itself is starting to get old, so I'm probably going to upgrade to a newer Bianchi Aramid vest pretty soon. And so this is basically it. This is what I carry on me on a day-to-day basis, and like I said, about 30 pounds of gear without even the body armor. So this is what it is. Hope you enjoyed it, just to give you an idea. Thanks out there in YouTube land, and have a great day.